Have you ever noticed how one small comment can steal your peace for hours, sometimes even days? One sentence, one look, one opinion, and suddenly your mind is no longer yours. That is not an accident. That is power being taken from you. And today, you're going to learn how to take it back. Most people believe power comes from speaking louder, proving a point, or winning an argument. That belief keeps them trapped. Truly powerful people move differently. They do not rush to respond. They do not explain themselves to everyone. They do not react to noise. They understand something rare. Silence is not empty. Silence is loaded. Here is a question that changes everything. Why do people try so hard to get a reaction out of you? Think about it. The insult, the disrespect, the unnecessary opinion, the provocation. None of it exists without one goal: to pull you into their emotional world, to make you feel what they feel. The moment you react, you have already lost control. Ignoring is not about pretending something did not happen. It is about choosing what deserves access to your mind. Your attention is the most valuable resource you own. Once it is gone, your focus is gone. Your energy is gone. Your clarity is gone. And without clarity, you are easy to manipulate. Most people react because reacting feels natural. The ego wants to defend itself. The ego wants to be seen as right. The ego wants validation. But discipline begins where impulse ends. When you ignore, you are not avoiding conflict. You are mastering yourself. Silence unsettles people, not because you are weak, but because they cannot read you. They cannot predict you. They cannot control you. Humans fear what they cannot control. When you stop reacting, you remove the leverage others think they have over you. And that is when the power shifts. Think about the calmest person you know, the one who does not rush to speak, the one who stays composed under pressure. That calm is not accidental. It is built. It comes from knowing that not every message deserves a reply, and not every battle deserves your energy. Loud minds seek attention. Strong minds choose peace. There is a deep psychological truth most people never learn. The more you react, the more predictable you become. Predictability makes you easy to play, easy to provoke, easy to distract. Ignoring breaks patterns. It disrupts expectations. It creates psychological distance. And distance creates dominance. When someone realizes they can no longer trigger you, they feel powerless. Their words lose weight. Their presence loses impact. And slowly, they fade into the background of your life. Not because you fought them, but because you stopped feeding them. Here is something few people are brave enough to accept. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves your explanation. Not everyone deserves your emotional response. Access is earned. And ignoring is how you enforce boundaries without saying a word. This is where most people get it wrong. They think ignoring is rude. They think it is cold. They think it means you care too much. In reality, ignoring means you care enough about yourself to protect your peace. It is not emotional. It is strategic. Every reaction costs you something: time, energy, focus. And the people who benefit from your reactions rarely deserve them. The strongest individuals are not those who react fast. They are those who choose carefully. If you stay until the very end of this video, you'll understand how to use this power without becoming bitter, cold, or disconnected. You will learn how to ignore without losing your humanity, and how to stay focused while others stay trapped in noise. That understanding alone can change the way people treat you forever. Because once you master the art of ignoring, you stop living on other people's terms. You stop being emotionally available to distractions. And you begin to move with quiet confidence. The kind that does not need approval. The kind that does not beg to be understood. The kind that makes people feel your presence, even when you say nothing at all. Once you understand that silence shifts power, a deeper question appears. Why do some people work so hard to disturb your peace? Why do they poke, criticize, gossip, or test your patience when you're focused on your own path? The answer is uncomfortable. Distraction is really nothing. It is about human psychology. People who are too busy growing, too busy improving. The ones who try to distract you are often fighting battles inside themselves. Your focus reminds them of their lack of it. Your discipline highlights their chaos. And instead of fixing their own lives, they try to enter yours. Attention is the currency of insecure minds. When someone cannot control their own direction, they look for control elsewhere. A reaction from you gives them that control. Even anger feeds them. Even frustration rewards them. Because in that moment, they feel seen. They feel important. They feel powerful. Ignoring them cuts off their supply. This is why criticism often comes from those who are not doing what you're trying to do. They question your moves. They doubt your decisions. They project their fears onto your ambition. And if you react, you step into their frame. You start explaining, defending, justifying, and without realizing it, you give your authority away. Most distractions are disguised as opinions, advice you did not ask for, judgments wrapped in concern, negativity framed as honesty. The mind that lacks direction always wants to comment on the direction of others. And the more you listen, the more noise enters your system. There's another psychological layer few people talk about. Some people are triggered by your growth. When you change, when you improve, when you stop playing small, it forces others to confront their own stagnation. That confrontation is painful. So instead of evolving, they try to pull you back to where they feel comfortable. Not because they hate you, but because your progress exposes their excuses. Ignoring in these moments is not cruelty. It is clarity. It is saying without words, I choose my future over your comfort. That choice is what separates leaders from followers, builders from talkers, focused minds from scattered ones. The world is full of noise. Opinions are cheap. Everyone has something to say, but very few people are living the life they want. If you listen to everyone, you end up nowhere. If you respond to everything, you lose yourself in other people's emotions. Strong individuals understand one thing early. Just because someone speaks does not mean you must listen. Just because someone reacts does not mean you must respond. You are not obligated to attend every argument you are invited to. You are not required to carry emotional baggage that does not belong to you. Distraction is a test of discipline, a test of self-respect. Every time you ignore something that does not serve your goals, you strengthen your mind. You teach yourself patience. You build emotional control. And emotional control is the foundation of all real power. People who cannot control themselves always try to control others. They provoke because they want movement. They criticize because they want engagement. They distract because they want attention. When you deny them all three, they lose interest. Not because they changed, but because they cannot use you anymore. This is why ignoring feels uncomfortable at first. The ego wants to respond. The mind wants closure. The heart wants validation. But growth demands restraint. Growth demands that you sit with the discomfort and let it pass. That discomfort is temporary. The strength you build is permanent. When you stop reacting, something powerful happens. Your energy returns to you. Your focus sharpens. Your thoughts become clearer. You start hearing your own voice again. And that voice knows exactly where you need to go. Ignoring distractions is not about isolation. It is about selection. You choose what enters your mental space. You choose what influences your mood. You choose what deserves your response. That choice is freedom. And as you move forward, calm and focused, you begin to notice something interesting. The same people who once tried to distract you start treating you differently. With caution, with curiosity, sometimes with respect. Because deep down, they feel it. You're no longer easy to access. And that makes you powerful. When distractions lose their grip on you, something shifts inside. You begin to feel a quiet strength. Not loud, not aggressive, just steady. This is where ignoring transforms from a reaction into a statement of self-respect. Self-respect is not built by proving others wrong. It is built by refusing to lower yourself to places that drain you. Every time you ignore what tries to pull you off your path, you send a message to yourself. You say, my time matters. My energy matters. My focus matters. And the mind listens. Most people confuse confidence with dominance. They think power is about winning conversations or shutting others down. Real confidence does not compete. It chooses. It chooses peace over chaos, progress over drama, purpose over ego. When you ignore what disrespects you, you are not running away. You are standing up for who you are becoming. There's a psychological reason this works. The brain learns through repetition. When you repeatedly react to negativity, you train your mind to live in defense mode. Stress becomes normal. Anxiety becomes familiar. But when you consistently ignore what does not align with your values, you train your mind to stay calm under pressure. Calm becomes your default state, and calm is dangerous to chaos. This is where emotional control is born, not by suppressing feelings, but by choosing where those feelings go. Anger does not disappear when you ignore. It transforms. It becomes focus. Frustration becomes fuel. Silence becomes strength. You stop wasting emotional energy on people who are not building anything with you. Self-respect also means knowing your worth without announcing it. You do not need to explain why you are busy. You do not need to justify your boundaries. You do not need permission to protect your peace. The moment you start explaining yourself to everyone, you hand them authority over your choices. Strong people move quietly. They let results speak. They let consistency do the talking. While others argue, they work. While others complain, they improve. While others seek attention, they build something that cannot be ignored. There's a powerful shift that happens when you stop responding to disrespect. People begin to sense limits, not because you threaten them, but because your silence made it clear. Silence says, you cannot reach me from there. And that is a boundary no argument can break. This level of self-respect requires courage. It is easier to react, easier to defend, easier to explain. But easy paths create weak minds. Discipline creates strong ones. Every ignored provocation is a mental rep. Every unreturned insult is emotional growth. Every silent decision is proof of control. You start to realize something important. Not every reaction is expression. Not every feeling is happiness. Maturity is knowing which emotions serve you and which ones sabotage you. And once you learn that, you stop being slave to every mood that passes through your mind. Self-respect also reshapes how you see success. You stop chasing approval. You stop measuring yourself by other people's reactions. You begin to measure yourself by alignment. Are your actions aligned with your goals? Are your choices aligned with your future? If the answer is yes, then noise becomes irrelevant. People who lack self-respect often demand attention. People who have it do not need it. They are too busy becoming something greater than yesterday. Their confidence does not shout. It stands still. Ignoring is not about coldness. It is about clarity. It is not about being distant. It is about being deliberate. You can still care deeply. You can still be kind. You just stop being available to what weakens you. As your self-respect grows, so does your presence. You walk differently. You think differently. You respond differently. Or more accurately, you do not respond at all when it is not necessary. That restraint changes how people treat you, because people respect what is not easily moved. And the more you protect your inner world, the stronger it becomes. You stop leaking energy. You stop bleeding attention. You become focused, grounded, unshakable, not because nothing affects you, but because you decide what does. That is the real weapon, not silence for the sake of silence, but silence backed by self-respect. The kind that keeps you moving forward while others stay trapped in reactions. When self-respect becomes your foundation, detachment becomes your advantage. This is where ignoring evolves into mastery, not emotional distance, not cold isolation, but a powerful ability to move forward without being pulled backward by noise. Detachment is misunderstood. Many think it means not caring. In reality, it means caring selectively. It means you no longer attach your peace to outcomes you cannot control or people who do not value your direction. You stop giving emotional ownership to things that do not build your future. The strongest minds are not emotionally numb. They are emotionally disciplined. They feel deeply, but they decide carefully. They do not let every situation enter their inner world. They understand that focus is fragile, and anything fragile must be protected. When you detach, you gain clarity. You start seeing situations for what they are, not how they make you feel in the moment. You recognize patterns faster. You sense manipulation sooner. You spot distractions before they drain you. This awareness is what keeps powerful people ahead. Most people live emotionally entangled. They replay conversations. They imagine arguments. They carry words that were never meant to matter. Detachment cuts those invisible strings. It frees your mind from loops that lead nowhere. And a free mind is dangerous to limitations. There's a reason high performers appear calm, even under pressure. They do not internalize chaos. They observe it. They stay present. They stay composed. While others are emotionally reacting, they are strategically moving. Detachment allows you to keep your eyes forward. You stop looking sideways to see who is watching. You stop looking backward to explain yourself. You keep moving toward your goals with quiet intensity. That kind of focus compounds over time. When you become detached, something interesting happens. You stop trying to be understood by everyone. You accept that misunderstanding is part of growth. Not everyone will get your silence. Not everyone will respect your boundaries. And that no longer bothers you. You realize that clarity does not come from talking more. It comes from thinking better. It comes from choosing what matters. It comes from aligning your actions with your values, not your emotions of the moment. This is where the most ruthless power lies. Not in control over others, but in control over yourself. You cannot dominate the world if you cannot govern your own reactions. You cannot build something meaningful if your energy is scattered. Detachment creates emotional independence. You stop needing external validation to feel secure. You stop depending on reactions to measure your worth. Your confidence becomes internal, stable, quiet, unshakable. And when confidence comes from within, nothing outside can threaten it. Praise does not inflate you. Criticism does not destroy you. Silence becomes your natural state, not a forced response. You begin to notice how much time you were wasting before. Time arguing, time explaining, time reacting, time emotionally investing in things that gave nothing back. Detachment gives that time back to you. And time is life. With that time, you build. You improve. You refine. While others stay busy reacting, you stay busy becoming. That gap grows, slowly at first, then all at once. People will sense the shift. Some will respect it. Some will resent it. Some will try harder to get your attention. That is when you know it is working. Because what they cannot reach, they try to disturb. But you're no longer available to disturbance. Your silence is not empty. It is full of purpose, full of direction, full of control. You move differently now. You listen more than you speak. You observe more than you react. You choose your moment. And when you do speak, your words carry weight. Because they are intentional. This is the art, not ignoring them, but ignoring them. Not silence, but silence. You stop chasing power. You embody it. You stop proving. You start progressing. You stop reacting. You start leading your own life. And that is the most ruthless power of all. Not being unreachable to people, but being unreachable to distractions that were never meant to decide your future.